Vixen episodes 5 and 6. Now, of course, I missed this before I went out of town last week to Comic Con, Salt Lake City Comic Con, not the really huge, awesome ones. Um, I've completely missed watching episode 5 when it premiered, and episode 6 came out, of course, today, which is still Tuesday. This probably won't actually upload until Wednesday, or technically it's Wednesday now because it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. But I was like, alright, I could do it, but I gotta catch up on so much stuff. I'm just gonna put them together because these reviews normally end up being way shorter than any of my other shows because, it's itty bitty little chunks. So I'm just gonna review the last two episodes for the series, which I think were really well done. We got to get, a backstory of Vixen. We got to see her in her costume, of course, in the final episode. We got to see her have a really cool sort of family bout with her sister, who I'm assuming at this point now is not Queen Bee. I could still be wrong. They kind of mentioned her name, but she could still take on whatever villain name she wanted to, technically speaking. But I'm assuming it's not Queen Bee. Um, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool watching her deal with her sister and finding out that the villain that's coming after her is her sister after she gets shot and she passes out, which I didn't think made any sense whatsoever, to be totally honest. Like, she got shot in the arm. Like, she gets shot right here, and then she lands, and then she passed out for what literally had to have been like a full day or half a day because she also was taken to Africa. So that's like half a day and stuff. Not to mention the fact that they landed wherever and then still carried her to the village, and that's when she finally woke up and it's like, man, she was knocked out by like a bullet in her near her shoulder blade, and she passed out for like 16 hours or something. So I thought that was kind of weird. It didn't make sense. Also, not a clue how the heck she got back to America because last I checked, you need passports and stuff, and I'm pretty sure her sister didn't bother with any of that when she kidnapped her, and she probably didn't help her out after she beat her up. But aside from those two random things which really caught my attention, I love these last two episodes. I thought they were really good. We got a great backstory for Vixen. We got to see her childhood. We got to also see her sister's backstory as well. It was all, of course, them being sisters, it was tied together. And we got to learn the responsibility to their village, whether it's destroyed or not, they have that responsibility. And Vixen's sister felt that she was meant to be the amulet's owner and wearer to protect the village. And, after Vixen, passes out or, nearly dies in Africa, wearing a leather jacket and boots, which also was funny to me. Like, she put that jacket on and was running. I said it like 5 times while watching. I'm like, she's in a leather jacket in Africa. And I was just, that whole scene when she was running, I was just like, she's in Africa. Like, I said it like 3 different ways. It's just like, she's in Africa with boots and a leather jacket on. And she's running in Africa with a leather jacket on and some boots on. And it was just so funny to me watching her do that. Like, she's in a leather jacket in Africa. And it was just really funny to me. But her getting sort of the spiritual connection to these creatures and the animals kind of coming to her and representing the people that she's lost and her going back to fight her sister. They definitely had a full Lion King moment. I don't know if anybody else thought that, but when the lion was talking, I was just like, the first thing I said was like, Simba. It was just the first thing in my head. It's, if a lion's talking to anyone, I'm going to think of James Earl Jones as Mufasa talking to Simba. That's just how it's going to be forever. For the rest of my life, that's what I'm going to think. And that's what happened when she was talking with, or when the animals, I guess technically were talking with her. And I thought it was cool. Her going back to fight her sister was really sweet. And she has the powers of the animals and she's fighting against her sister and stuff. And it was just really fun. Like, it was a nice little battle, and her sister, she was all fancy and stuff, but after she has the amulet, like, the head wrap or the headdress, that vanishes, and they give her, like, the crazy evil, I can't, like, Medusa tentacle hairstyle in a sense. They kind of make her look all crazy with the, like squiggly hair and stuff. And I was like, that's a pretty cool change. It made her look, of course, a million times more evil because she was going crazy with the power. And I also like the fact that visually it was different because for Vixen, all of her, I guess this animal auras were like sort of bluish purple, I guess violet in a sense. And for her sister, they were just flat out gold. And I like that, which I thought was nice that they had that difference for their characters. It wasn't the same. It was, different. The auras looked different. And I was like, that's actually pretty cool. It's just a minor touch. And I just thought that was kind of sweet. Um, I think one thing that was interesting about her sisters being yellow, I believe that when Vixen was in like Justice League Unlimited and stuff, that was the color of her aura, and I think that's the general color for Vixen is that the animals basically look yellow or gold. So that was also kind of interesting. They kind of changed it from its typical color, and it could be very different depending on who does the comic maybe, and they could change it to whatever color they want to. But I just remember that from like Justice League Unlimited, she had the gold auras, and in this, the villain has it. So that's something I thought of too. I was like, that's pretty cool. It's just a little variation. It's just, and that may have been the nod to the original color, and they just made like this is like the villain color instead this time. But I liked the fight. It was pretty fun to watch her fight against her sister who has these powers, and she kind of has the spiritual form of the powers. With even without the amulet, she was doing some pretty interesting stuff and dodging and flipping, and she throws the spear and just hits her sister in the arm, and then she uses the spider on her. And I kind of love the line where she's like, whatever is in the spider's bite reacts way faster if it's directly in the bloodstream. And then she, like, right after she said that, which makes perfect sense, she's like, or it doesn't. I'm kind of just guessing right now. I like that line. It was just like, it was kind of funny that she just did that. And even funnier, of course, was before she ran through Africa in a leather jacket and boots, when her sister was like, I forgot exactly what her line was. It was something about like killing her or something. Like, I'm sure you understand. And she's like, nope, I don't see it. And she tried, she just took off. I love that. I thought that was just really funny. She was like, all right, things are getting really weird. My sister gave me my whole life story. Still trying to kind of kill me for some reason because she's insane. So I don't understand that, and I'm going to run through Africa in a leather jacket and boots. But I enjoyed it. I thought these were two really good final episodes. I'm really hoping we get to see a live Vixen somewhere in this season of either Arrow or Flash. I feel like they kind of did this. I know it was their test, but I feel like they had a plan all along to put her in there in live action, whether we liked it or not. So hopefully we get to see her. Maybe like at least a hint if they're still. I'm sure they still have episodes to film for Arrow and Flash respectively. Plus we still have Legends of Tomorrow, which they probably already did that because I think that's only going to be like 8 episodes anyway. But maybe we'll get to see Vixen in here somewhere. We got Flash and Arrow at the end of episode 6. Really loved that one because they had the scene with Oliver and Barry when Barry mentions how he kissed Felicity, and then I was like, you kissed her? And he's like, oh, well, I gotta run. And he takes off. I love that. That was also incredibly funny because it was referencing, I think, it was probably only like the 5th or 6th episode in Flash when Felicity came in. And then they kiss, and that was just really funny. So I really enjoyed that. It was just a very silly moment. But I like these last 2 episodes. I'm excited for whatever we get from Vixen, her as, the hero Vixen. I think it'll be really cool if they do, whether it's through CW Seed, which personally, as much as I would love a live action version, so that they could do it with Flash and Arrow just on the TV shows, I would love a new animated DC series because there are just so many things. I mean, there's so many freaking things that just look better animated. And as far as Flash goes, Flash is doing it great with their CG and stuff. That's fine, but I don't think flying ever really looks that great in CG. Like it just always looks weird. At some point, either when they start to get smaller and smaller, it looks weird, or when they're up close, it looks really weird, and then they do the transition, and sometimes it works, A lot of times though it doesn't, and it's just because it's hard to just do flying people. It's just hard. So I would love to see this continue on into like an animated series, like a season two, and maybe Vixen shows up in Arrow and Flash live action, but they keep her mainly animated, and then of course they can bring Arrow and Flash over to her show as well, and so we get them that way, and we get to see even more crazy stuff from the two of them as well. Although, like I said, with Barry, they've been pretty amazing with the CG for that show, and I think it's looked pretty well so far. But I'm excited for whatever we get out of Vixen season two or Vixen just coming into live action shows. I'm assuming we'll get a season two since they've introduced her in her own series. I'm sure we'll get a season two, and hopefully the episodes will be like half-hour episodes, even if they are hour long, which would be amazing to have just hour-long animated episodes. That would be really freaking sweet. But whatever we get, I'm excited for. I like this little, mini series that we got. I'm gonna rewatch it just to go through the whole thing all at one time, and my girlfriend still hasn't seen it. So now that it's ended, I think I'll watch it with her as well. And we can just go through this little 30-minute story, and just enjoy it. See the action scenes, get the backstory, get the funny moments. I'm sure she'll have a lot to say about how Detroit looks nothing like it does in this show, which I always find funny. Like, just the ending shot with Vixen like on the roof. I'm like, it's nothing like that in Detroit at all. It just doesn't. And I would love if someone did like a comparison picture of just any frame of Detroit from the show Vixen, and then just any actual picture of Detroit. It wouldn't look anything like that. But I enjoyed this series. I'm excited for what we're gonna get. Like I said, I really hope that we get like a season two with 30-minute episodes, or maybe even 10-minute episodes. That'd be cool. Just twice as much time as we got for these. That'll be great too. But I enjoyed I guess technically season finale in a sense. I guess the episode 5 and then episode 6 being the season finale. I enjoyed them both, of course. I want to know what you guys thought about these last two episodes, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And of course, with this being the ending of the season, I'm assuming, and then, like I said, whatever we're going to get for the future of Vixen as far as CW's, DC line, what do you guys want to see? Would you prefer her to just go into live action, or would you prefer her to stay as a DC animated show? Because of course, with some of the stuff that they've done for Vixen, it's been pretty serious. I mean, of course, Arrow gets just dark and Batman-like at times, but it's not like Vixen was, where people are just getting mugged and then she's just like destroying people. Like, we barely, when you think about it, despite Oliver using a bow and arrow all the time, how often do we really see blood in that show? People get shot, still rarely see blood. But if it's animated, you can have like 10 times as much blood, and it's like, meh, it's just animated blood. So they can do a lot more, and I prefer to see it animated. Plus it just looks so good. I love, and this is such a nerdy thing, but I just love animation today because it's just so great, the high definition. And of course it makes me think of Young Justice, which makes me sad, but still looks really awesome. So I prefer it if it stayed animated and she was in the live action episodes every once in a while, but her thing stayed animated and we got to see a lot of the mystical stuff come from her series, because that way they could really show it off and do all the crazy animation tricks that you can't do with CG, or if you can, it won't look as good, or it would just take so much time, it would cost way more money to do it with all the insane 3D effects, like filming a blank space and then adding in a tornado and adding in lightning and this and that, which they already do in Flash. So I don't know, as far as budgets go, how much of a disaster that would be, having to add on all the crazy mystical effects for Vixen. But either way, I'm excited for what we're getting. Like I said, I want to know what you guys thought about these last two episodes. as well as what you want to see for the future of Vixen, whether it's her coming into the series live action and getting her own, time slot on CW in live action. Would you accept it if it was an animated show on CW, like a primetime animated DC series? Because that would be really cool to see, like, an animated show in primetime that isn't, of course, like Simpsons or Family Guy or Bob's Burgers, I guess, technically, too, and Archer. All those shows, which are, like, way more adult compared to, DC stuff. Well, I probably shouldn't say that, but compared to what we would see on television from some of the DC stuff, Family Guy, a bit up there in some of the things they say and do. But I want to know what you guys thought, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.